Welcome to the You Are More podcast. I'm Blaine Ledbetter.
And I'm Lakin Stewart. If you're looking for an authentic community that shares the truth of the gospel and the truth about life, you've come to the right place.
We believe that you are more. You're more than motherhood, more than your ministry, and more than your career. Grab a cup of coffee and listen in to hear the truth about what it means to find your identity in Christ through every season of life.
Welcome to the You Are More podcast.
Welcome to the You Are More podcast. We're so excited to be back with y'all. It is officially February and it is Love Month. And
Love Month.
Some of you may not be pink and red and frilly heart girls, but that's okay.
We aren't really either, but
we're not. I mean, my headphones are pink and I've got some pink lipstick, but I don't know. It's just not one of my colors. However, definitely have couple girls and they are loving that. But this month our little series for love is called This One's for the Lovers. And so we hope you saw our design on social media courtesy of Lakin, but it's just gonna be a fun month.
It's gonna be
month we're gonna talk about loving our kids, loving our spouses, loving our jobs, loving like being in ministry. And so we're pumped. So I hope this is like a fresh, lighthearted talk the whole month.
It's going to be like telling stories about different things that we love and how we love them well. And
we did want to start. I told Lakin, I said, I have a disclaimer. We
for this episode specifically.
Specifically this. Yes. We are not in the thick of preteen and teen years when hormones are raging and kids are just a little bit harder to love. I know some of you have probably got some really, really incredible preteen and teen kids, but I know some of you may just be struggling to love your kids well in that season of just the emotional roller coaster. But Lakin and I say that as we're in the thick of toddlerhood and I am like early elementary. So this is just, we're not giving advice to those who have gone ahead of us. It's mainly those who are in it with us now. So
and not even really advice, more or less just telling stories.
Like this is what we're going through. Hopefully you can relate.
Seriously.
So Lakin, we're going to kick off first with what do you love about each of your kids?
First off, my kids are 3 and almost 2. And they are so different. Like there's this picture that my husband shared on Instagram like a few weeks back of our girls riding their bikes like down the sidewalk, and Lila is looking all cute and sweet on her little bike, and then Charlotte is like legs up, tongue out, making a face as she's riding down the sidewalk.
I love it.
That just describes their personalities. They are both amazing and so different, and there's parts of each of them that I love, and then parts of each of them that I'm like, I could do without that part of you. I think one thing I love about our oldest is she is so inquisitive and has to just know everything that we're doing, everything that we're talking about, everything that she's looking at. Like she will look at something and be like, Mommy, what does that look like? Like she wants me to describe it, even though she is looking at it. She always has a question for everything, and she is wicked smart. Like
that's awesome.
Her memory, like we moved from Virginia to Illinois, as you know, from like 3 or 4 months ago. And she will talk about by name her school that she went to there, her 2 teachers that she had there. She'll tell me all about like things that she did. Like the other day ago, she was talking about she took like a pacifier until she was maybe 2.25 years old, whatever that is. And she was talking about how her blue passy and pink passy broke on the way home from the beach. And I tell you, that was like almost a year ago. And she was talking about it. And I'm like, how do you remember this? So
Wow.
I love her memory and just she asks so many questions. And sometimes Cody and I are like, oh my gosh, when do the questions stop?
Yep.
And she doesn't just talk to you, she yells them at you. She's like, Mommy, what is this? What
Yep.
is that? And it's like, I can't
Felt.
like
Hmm.
you don't have to yell. You can lower your like she's not like intentionally yelling. I think she's just like trying to get her attention.
Yeah.
She just talks really, really loud, like in the middle of the store. Mommy, what does that doggy look like? And we're like, you're literally looking at the dog. You know what it
We
looks
have one of
like.
those. Yep. I have one of those. Yeah.
Um, and our little one, Lila, she is just so weird. I love her so much. She will just, I have this picture of her from a few days ago, just like sitting up on the couch with her legs crossed and her going like this, like putting her hand to her cheek. And
She's
she's just
so
like,
sweet.
she knows that she is cute and
Hmm.
she'll just milk it for all it's worth. But she wants to be
Yep.
so much like her big sister.
Hmm.
And that's probably the thing I love about her the most is that, um, she's her own little person, but also wants to do everything that
Oh
Charlotte is
yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
Like we bought them this trampoline, like indoor trampoline for Christmas with like a
Hmm.
bar. And the child is so strong. She can like hold herself up on the bar, pull herself up and do like a flip on it without assistance. And I'm like, I guess I need to get you in gymnastics or something.
Yeah. For sure.
Next Olympian, here we come. No, but
Uh-huh.
she is so strong and just fearless. And I think, you know, all those things that I just talked about are things that I love about her. She's just sweet and kind until she's not, and then she starts to hit. But
Right.
yeah, but yeah, she is just her own little person, wants to be just like her big sister, and just has no fear whatsoever. She will just climb to the top of whatever and just jump off with no abandon.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's my kids are very different. Charlotte is very structured and orderly, even with her toys, like everything has a place. All her
Yeah.
cars have to be lined up in a row. And Lila is just the total opposite. She will just flail everything everywhere. So
Yeah.
they're sweet. What about you,
Well,
Blaine? You've got three of
yeah,
them.
I do. And like you said, they're all so different. My oldest is a boy, so Dansby, oh man, he's like just the absolute best big brother that I could have
Mm,
ever asked for the girls. He's
yeah.
so patient. He, I mean, he has the patience of Job. I mean, he literally, they could do whatever they wanted to him, and he's just gonna laugh the whole time. Like, he's their biggest fan, their
That's
biggest
awesome.
cheerleader. Yes, I'm praying that that sticks
Yeah.
forever. Um, but he is very inquisitive. Sometimes he does it to be annoying, like asking a
Hmm.
question, but he definitely wants to know, you know, how things work the way they do. But his mind is so sharp, just
Yeah.
like you were talking, just he wants to know how things work and stuff. And
Yeah.
so, um, definitely loves to include his sisters, but also his friends. Every time, maybe my husband takes him to the store, but not the girls, he's always thinking about what he can do to bring them something home or something. Like he's just so
So
considerate.
sweet.
It is so just like I can't imagine him being anything else. So he's definitely my easygoing one. He likes order, like you said, with like the things in their places in his room. But he's so chill that I'm just very grateful.
Yeah.
Very
Was he like
grateful
that
for
as a
that.
toddler?
He was like unhinged as a toddler. He is also fearless. So like
Mm.
he's just crazy as a toddler. I mean just man. He
So there's
has the
hope
most
that my crazy
stitches.
toddler will.
Hmm. He has the most stitches out of anybody in the family. Um, he will go climb a tree with no fear, ride his bike without training wheels, just jump off anything. And I think that's part of a boy just need to like climb and run and all that. But anyways, love him for all those sweet characteristics. Um, my second born is my spicy baby,
Little
but
spicy girl.
oh, she's spicy, but I love her spiciness. Um, she will give you a kiss and a hug anytime. She's still affectionate, thank goodness, because Dansby is not.
He's too cool.
Yeah, at all. Yeah, he's too cool for school. But she knows what she wants. It's either her way or no way. Like she either will, you know, she has a very strong will. She'll either do what she wants or she'll miss out on something and she doesn't care because she's not changing her mind. And I was listening to a podcast and they were like, we're raising strong, independent, strong-willed girls, and one day that's going to serve them well because they're going to,
Oh, yes.
challenge the norms and the patriarchy. And I was like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. So that's why I will never complain about her intensity and her spiciness.
Intensity.
Although sometimes it drives me crazy sometimes, and I'm just like, why are you the way that you are? But I would not wish her to be any other way. And so I do love that about her. And then my third, she
used to be your little angel baby.
She was so sweet. And now
and then they turned 2.
Can do whatever she wants, does not care about rules. But her siblings love her so much that it makes her, I feel like, sweeter and just like oozing cuddly goodness.
I love
she
it.
She's still a mama's girl at almost 2.5 years old. Still a mama's girl.
I love it.
It's mama or nobody. But she's definitely taken on more of the fearless role, like Dansby. She has no fear in doing anything, doesn't care about rules, consequences, discipline, nothing. She can be a little unhinged, but I love that.
Like that's all toddlers, unhinged.
Yeah. Well, like yesterday we were laying in the bed yesterday afternoon, just, end of the week, vegging out.
Chill.
And I looked at Phoebe and I was like, Phoebe, I love you so much. And she said, I love you too. And then Vivi piped in and said, I love you, Mama. I was like, oh, you're so sweet. I mean, sometimes you're a little terror, but you're so sweet right now.
Sometimes you terrorize everybody, but you're still sweet, girl.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I love about my kids. So, okay. So this is what we love about our kiddos.
Yeah.
So tell me in thinking kind of like on the spectrum of 5 love languages, which if you're not familiar, Dr. Gary Chapman has these 5 love languages of acts of service, gifts, words of affirmation, physical touch, and quality time. And so I don't know about you, but like I already see how our kids best receive love through those love languages. And I'm like, you're so young, and
it's already
true.
pertinent. Yeah. Gary Chapman is actually coming to our church in March and doing a conference. Cool. So we're doing like a marriage conference. And the pastor of our church now used to work with him at another church. Yeah. So that's how we have that connection. So I'm excited about that. But that's just a side note. The way my children receive love is also very different. Charlotte, anytime a package comes in the mail, by golly, she thinks it's for her. She loves receiving things from people and is just the most like sweetest, so thankful, like little human you've ever met. Like if you get her something, like no matter how small it is, you are her best friend. So like my mom sent them some Valentine's Day dresses and she was like, oh, she started saying this. She goes, OM goodness. So she starts saying this week. I don't know where she got it from. She goes, OM goodness, this is so pretty. I'm going to look like a Valentine princess.
I love that.
She was so excited about these little dresses that my mom got. And anytime I come home with like a little treat for them, which honestly isn't very often, but if I come home with like an M&M, she would just like fall
Yeah.
on the floor excited about it.
Yeah.
And Lila, hers is probably physical touch. That girl, she loves to be all up in your business.
Mm-hmm.
She
Yep.
she does this one thing where she will look at you and hold your face and then shove her cheek into your cheek, and you're just like, I love you so much, but you're gonna break my cheekbone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
She just loves her face right on your face, loves to cuddle. I rock her to sleep every night, and it's just the best 15 minutes of my day, I think.
Yeah.
She's so cuddly and sweet, until she's not, but most of the time she is. And
Yeah.
so hers is definitely physical touch. So
Physical touch.
Charlotte
Yeah.
definitely takes after me with loving gifts, and then Lila definitely takes after Cody with the physical touch. So
Yeah. Yeah.
what about your kids?
So weird that you just said that. The
Why?
girls are the same.
Really?
Seriously. Like Phoebe can still tell you if you go in her room and say, "Who gave this to you?"
Oh,
She
she
knows.
knows. Yes.
She knows when. And I'm like,
Yes. Like there
you
was
better give her a good
like
gift.
our neighbors across the street in Virginia, when they would come over, sometimes they would grab our mail because our mail was on the other side of a highway and we would have to cross the highway. So they would grab it. And one time we used to subscribe to that Imagination library that Dolly Parton
Yeah.
does. And one of those books was in our mailbox. And Isaac, our neighbor across the street, brought it over to Charlotte. And she still to this day pulls out the book and is like, "This is the book Isaac got me." And I'm like,
Oh
how
my
did he
goodness.
knows? And we have not seen them in
Yeah.
like 4 months. And I'm like, that's insane that you
She
remember
doesn't
that.
forget. She
No.
doesn't forget. So I'm like, if you want her to like you,
Oh, get her a gift.
have got to get her a gift. Come to her party,
Yep.
whatever. Like she knows who gave it to her. And that,
Oh, yeah.
especially if you buy her something she's wanted,
Mm.
like you have just made her year. And then Vivian, same as Lila, literally like physical touch.
Mhm.
It's all or nothing. It's not okay to just sit next to me. It's like
gotta
she's
be
got to be
whole
in my
body.
lap,
Yeah.
all up in my
In my
face,
shirt.
like
Yeah.
cheek to cheek. Yes. I was like, you would literally crawl back up
Crawl
inside
back
me if you
inside.
could.
Yeah.
But she like being close is like the other day at school, her teacher was like, "Yeah, she's been a little moody today." I was like, "I'm sorry, she's like that at home all the time." She said, "Well, she got up and moved her nap mat over to where I was and made me pat her to sleep." I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry." And now at night, she like makes me hold her hand as we like sing and pray.
Oh my
I'm like,
goodness.
"Girl, you are rotten." But
Spolt.
they're so different from
Yeah.
Dansby. Like
What is Dansby's? Yeah.
I would say Andrew might differ because they spend way more time together than me and Dansby, just because like father son, he takes them to school. They're different bond. But I would definitely say quality time. Like
Yeah.
he's asking all the time, can we go on a walk? Can we go on a hike? Just hey, will you come up here and see this in my room? Just like being together.
Mm.
And I would say words of affirmation. We really try to affirm him a lot,
Yeah.
but also he shows love in affirmation. Like, good job, baby. That was so good. You did a good
Oh,
job. Good job, daddy. Good job, mama. And I'm just like, please
sweet
keep that
boy.
up
I
forever.
know.
He's so sweet. I mean, he's a man of few words. I mean,
Sure.
you got to get it out of him, but if he's ready to dole out some affirmations,
He will.
you better be listening. And
I can't wait to meet him.
he's so sweet.
Such a
But
sweet boy.
so yeah. So that's our kids, how we love them well, how we love them best, like how they receive love, what
Yeah.
we love about them. But like you feel this too.
Oh, sure.
Sometimes loving your kids is
really hard.
hard. And sometimes love looks like discipline.
Yeah.
And what's your best, like in the thick of toddlerhood? Remember this when loving your kids is hard. Like, what's your best words of wisdom?
I think because, I mean, our kids are so different, and yours are too,
Mm-hmm.
that loving them through like a difficult moment looks differently for each of my children.
Mhm.
Like Lila, if you even raise your voice just a little bit at her, she will burst into tears and just
Yeah.
go hide in a corner. She's so,
Feel that.
so,
Yep.
so sensitive.
Mhm.
Like if I took on her arm to get her off of the table because she's gonna fall off and crack her head open,
Mhm.
she thinks that that is like I pulled her arm out of her socket and is just crying and just any kind of like touch that is not necessarily a loving touch, but more like a firm, I'm going to move you away so you don't get hurt. That is just
Yeah.
like the end of the earth for her. And she is so sensitive. Her sensitive little
Bless.
heart is just it's so sad. And I'm talking like crocodile tears come out and they're
Oh,
just
brother.
sad. Um, but I think some of the hardest times I find myself in when it comes to loving my children well through a difficult moment honestly has a lot more to do with my reaction than maybe their behavior. Um, I will say I am not perfect by any means. So like I have yelled at my kids. I have, gotten mad and like thrown like a pillow on the couch or whatever just because I was
Yeah.
frustrated and just like as an adult, it feels good to release that emotion. And here I
Yeah.
am trying to teach my kids, hey, you can't throw that thing across the room like mommy just did. Mommy needs to
Yeah.
apologize for throwing that.
Yeah.
Um, and so truly, I think there's a couple of ways to show your kids love through hard moments. One of them is disciplining them, and that whatever that looks like for your family and what you
Yeah.
decide on for your family is what's best for your kids. So like as long as you and your spouse are on the same page of
Yeah.
this is how we're going to discipline our children. And you keep consistency. Like consistency is key when it comes to disciplining and loving your children well.
Yeah.
Um, and then another facet of that is knowing to apologize when you've done something wrong and leading by example. So, like,
Mhm.
if my kids get crazy and I'm just at my wit's end and I like just start to yell, which has happened. And yes, within the last week, probably today,
Yep.
you
Same.
have like, I really have to humble myself and be like, girls, mommy is so sorry. She shouldn't have done that. She shouldn't have yelled. You don't
Mhm.
deserve to be yelled at. And mommy's going to work to not yell. And taking time to show kids what that looks like. Because I think
Yeah.
a lot of us grew up not really knowing
Yeah.
how to apologize well because it was never modeled to us. It was just
Right.
you say you're sorry because you're told, not
Yeah.
because you necessarily
Agreed.
want to or need to. So I don't know if that answers your questions, but that's like the two ways I think are helpful for me to view difficult moments with my kids. Like, what am I going to take away from this? And then what are my kids going to take away from it? Are we both going to
Yeah.
take away something fruitful or are we both just going to be hurt? And
Yeah.
so,
Especially,
yeah.
well, like when you're seeing them at their worst, and I'm sure your kids are like this, but like mine are great at school or with other
Oh,
adults, but when
so
they get
good.
home,
It is
yeah, they're
like they
just
are so
not. They let it
comfy.
out.
They let it because they've been
Yes.
holding it in all day long, and
And it's
they feel safe with you. And
yeah, and it's like it's an honor, but at the same time
it's
it's like,
it's like, can I just get the
oh
good version of
gosh.
you, please?
I know, I know.
Yeah.
But same, I mean, as far as the discipline, but it's sometimes loving them is hard. In the sense of it does look like discipline. And I tell mine all the time. I say, I do not enjoy getting you in trouble. Like, I don't enjoy disciplining you. This is
Yeah.
not enjoyable. This is not something that I look forward to every day. But if I don't, how do you
You
think
won't
you're going to
learn.
learn
Yeah.
to respond to other people? Respond when you don't get what you want. When you're reprimanded or whatever. I oftentimes have to tell my kids, like, you're not in trouble. I just need you to know why I said no right now.
Yeah.
Um, but even like discipline is biblical because in Hebrews, I've looked it up this morning, but Hebrews 12:6, the first part of that verse is the Lord disciplines those that he loves. And so we really try to tell our kids, we are disciplining you because we love you. We are
Yeah.
trying, like,
To
they
help
think
you
that we're
learn.
so mean. Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
get all the time, at least twice a week, you're a mean mommy. And I'm just saying, hey, don't do that because you're going to fall off and get hurt. But
That's so mean.
I know, I'm like, you don't even know what a
You
mean
don't even
mom
know. I'm
looks
saving
like.
your life, kid. Come on.
Yeah. But I love my kids by showing them that there are rules and boundaries and consequences
Yeah.
because we're trying to raise kind,
Well-adjusted
like
children.
well-adjusted humans, but mainly like we're raising them to be adults, not to stay kids
Yeah.
forever. I mean, I'm not raising my kid to like better manage her meltdown and continue to kick and scream. I'm trying to like model what it looks like to be angry, but then also not hurt other people too.
Yeah.
I I think it was on like Instagram yesterday or one day this week, but you know, raising kids, they're on an emotional roller coaster. And I know you've
Every
seen
day.
this with yours. I mean, it's just up and down. It's like
All day, every day.
one minute they're fine, the next minute they're melting down. And it's just like up and this is exhausting.
And
But
it's exhausting for us as the parents because we're also on that emotional roller coaster.
right.
Like,
Because
yeah,
we fluctuate based on
based on
our
them.
margin or our circumstances or how we're feeling that week mentally, physically, emotionally, or whatever. But it was so interesting because I haven't thought of it like this. They're like, kids are on an emotional roller coaster, and it's not our job to make sure that to manage the roller coaster or whatever. Our job is to sit with them as they go up and down and really be that safety bar that's keeping them safe on the roller coaster. Because we can't, make it go away. I can't control my kids' emotions, but I really can model, here's what I love you. I'm disciplining you because I love you. You're having a hard emotional day, but that's okay. Tomorrow's going to be better. Like we're with you.
Yeah.
So sometimes love looks tough love. I know y'all heard that before.
Oh, yeah,
But
for sure.
I think, like you mentioned, just apologizing and also healthy ways to discipline, but also, reminding your kids, like, this is how I can love you best is to, discipline you to mold you into someone who loves Jesus, hopefully later in life. So now and in, later. So
I love it. What is one thing this week that your kids did that you were like, gosh, if I could just freeze time for this 10 seconds? What do you have one or
yes, it was a couple nights ago, right at bedtime, like their bedtime. They all piled in our bed. Someone, I'll let you guess who, was supposed to be in bed earlier than her siblings and made her little sneaky way downstairs into our bed.
Did.
But we were all just piled in mine and Andrew's bed, and they were just laughing and playing and kissing and hugging each other. And I just thought, it's not always going to be this way. Because one day we'll probably have some moody teenager that doesn't leave their room. Or
you definitely will.
I know I will. But in that moment, I literally thought, if I could just bottle this up, just to, I know I can't freeze time and I know it can't stay this way forever, but it was the sweetest. Like, I just couldn't even make them go upstairs to go to bed. Eventually, it turned into wrestling, and then of course people were falling off the bed,
crying.
so we had to stop. But it was so sweet, just how much they love each other and how much they like being with each other. It was great. What about y'all?
Yeah. Honestly, something very similar. Usually every morning they both end up in our bed, whether it's at 4:30 or 6:30 or whatever.
Yeah.
Both of them end up in our bed, and Charlotte can't quite say her L's yet, so she calls Lila Waya or like Yaya.
Oh,
She's 3, and I need to really start working on her saying her L's because she's 3 and should know how to say them. But she'll like take Lila's face and be like, I love you so much, Yaya. Just like start
Oh,
kissing it, or like that happens probably every morning. And then, by the end, there's like some sort of
right.
crying that's happening.
Mhm.
But for those
Yeah.
like 10 seconds where they're getting along and not fighting over something, it's just really
Oh,
sweet. And then
no.
so
I
I
love
love
that.
it when they bounce on the trampoline together. They're
Mhm.
just so like both their faces are just grinning ear to ear and they're just laughing and
I
having a
love
good
that.
time. Hearing them laugh together is probably one of my favorite things ever.
Yeah,
Because they're close enough
agreed.
apart where like Charlotte doesn't really remember life before Lila.
Yeah.
Because she was so little when she was born. And so Lila, of course, has never not had a sibling. So
Yeah.
it's really sweet watching them just their little friendship grow. And they fight constantly, but in like the 0.2 seconds where they're not fighting over something, it's really, really sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, we're so glad that y'all have
I
tuned in to
know.
listen this week. We hope this month is so fun for you
So
just to listen
fun.
through.
Next week, we're going to
Loving.
be, yeah, talking about loving our spouses. Might get a little
Yay! It's gonna
spicy.
fall on Valentine's Day. We're
Valentine's
so
Day.
excited.
Yeah, should be good.
So yeah, we hope y'all have a great week. Go and love your kids. If you don't have kids, if you're not a mom or dad yet, go find your best friend's kids and then
Love
just
on
show them how
them.
much you love
Yeah.
them. They'll love it, and I know their parents will appreciate it just as much. So
Oh,
we'll see
yeah.
you next week.
See you next week.